Spin.
We're live.
We're live. We're here
Here it
again.
is.
And it's the Thursday night lounge and
Tech
talk
Lounge,
live.
yeah. Yes. Well, Gearhead Lounge, I think we're going to call us.
Is a general.
Yeah, it's a general thing.
Okay.
So
It should be the refrigerator's lounge.
it's a little chilly. I got the heater going.
Yeah,
I got the heater going. All right. Woo. Okay. It's Thursday.
Yes.
Yes. Why we're sitting a little close to each other. So
All right.
I think I have to go this way.
We'll go that. How about that?
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
There we go.
We got a little man space between us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Need the man space, guys. Very important. Who do we got in the house here? We got a Mexican spec, as always. 20 Motors, Lemonstein. How's it going, man? Boomer TP. Joe K. What's happening to Joe K? Dakota. What's happened to Dakota? Haven't seen him in forever.
Dakota's time out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the new night,
Yeah. Bill McKeisko. What's happening? Carbide Jones. What's going on, Gearheads? 957 Mike. Dudes, what's up? Rocco, yes, we're going to do, because I have puppy things that I'm doing on Wednesday nights. So I have to, we moved it to Thursdays now. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rocco doing colonoscopy pep. That's that thing where they ram a camera up your ass. No, thank you, bro. Good luck with that.
He's doing the prep, so
Good luck with that.
He's cleaning himself now. Yeah.
Charlie Roma. Paul Capizola. Berserk Big Daddy. Greetings from Idaho.
Throttle Davidson.
Yes. We got all the regulars. I mean,
yeah.
Some
new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sierra Daylight. Yes.
Josh Holman, Stray Bullet.
Let's just greet people and then say goodbye to them over the course. Let's do nothing but that. I think.
Yeah.
Just greetings and
farewell. Yeah.
Josh Holman says it is good to be here.
Yeah.
Bill McLean, good evening. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
So, Kenneth Martin, Tony, let's hear your comments about the 351 Cleveland. I'll let Dr. Art go first on that.
Just in general?
Yes.
I'd like them. But it'd be nice if they had the better Windsor bearings in the crank. But
okay.
But so far as if you're looking for something that's it's reasonably heavy, but if you're looking for a high RPM freeway car, something that'll do 140 miles per hour all day long, Cleveland's your choice.
It's hard to argue. I mean, who was it? Bob Glidden. Bob Glidden declared back in like 1978, 1979, that inch for inch, pound for pound, the 351 Cleveland was the best engine ever produced. And that was the perspective of somebody who was running pro stock on a cubic inch to weight standard, right? It was back then, it wasn't just 500 cubic inches across the board. The cars had to match cubic inch to weight. And he determined that inch for inch, pound for pound, the 351 Cleveland was it. Bob Glidden was a very smart guy, and I would not argue with him.
It's all about the cylinder heads, man. The big intake parts you can throw a Red Bull can down.
It's a big block Chevy combustion chamber.
Yeah.
With a lighter, more geometrically advantaged short block. I don't see how you could go wrong.
No.
The problem was they were most on the street. They were like under carbureted. I know I did a drag test on a Boss 351, and it had like a 580 something CFM Holly on it.
It's just,
which is just like
it's like half what it needs.
Yeah, just run it down a track with the choke on, for Christ's sakes. But they were good motors. Did that answer questions?
I think so.
Did that answer the question? Yeah, right.
Got a question from Las Vegas.
Yes.
It includes on finding a rare 4-barrel intake for a 318 poly motor. There's one on Marketplace, Nashville right now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Must be expensive. I haven't seen
it. It was in the $400 neighborhood, but it was in nice shape, and it's there.
$400 for a poly single 4-barrel is cheap.
Yeah. So if you need one, there you go.
Yeah,
National Marketplace. It's there.
National Marketplace. It weighs as much as the rest of the car too, so shipping it is not.
No, it was aluminum. And,
was aluminum?
Yeah, it was. It was like a Wyand or something, or Edelbrock or something.
Oh, people pay like $750, $1,000 for those things.
Yeah, but it was there because I was looking for manifolds all week. I found 2, but
years ago I found one in the woods down by Fayetteville.
You were in the woods in Fayetteville randomly?
There was a junkyard there, and then beyond the limits of the junkyard were like woods, and I could see cars out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like, I don't know, a 61 Dodge or thereabouts.
Okay.
And I walked over to it and had a single 4-barrel poly manifold on it. But there was no way to get this thing. The bolts had rusted themselves round.
So
there was no liberating this intake manifold in the woods. Let's see. The formula is happening. Kenneth Martin retracted his message.
Mm-hmm. Let's get all the messages. How about that? Let's try all the messages. Oh, look, there we go.
There's a lot of them now. Mexican spec, can't you cut the heads off the bolts? Bro, this was literally like in the woods. It was 75 miles from home. I had no real tools with me. Just whatever odds and ends happened to be in the back of my car. Let's see. Let's just be quiet. Shh. You can hear it scroll.
G. Cartwright. A Buddy Cars Rock. Plymouth Duster.
Yes. I guess he's a fan.
He is a fan.
Yes.
I found all kinds of interesting stuff for that Barracuda, but I still haven't found the proper early front sway bar because the K number has changed.
Yes.
And so you got to get that early specific one. A couple people said they had them and they were going to contact me, but they were radio silence after.
That would have to come out from like God didn't use them until 66. There were no sway bars on those cars until 66.
Yeah, so you got to go aftermarket or you got to go 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, you probably would have gone aftermarket.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna fight with collectors over.
Yeah. Well, this one is
It might be easy enough to adapt one. It's not
well, that's what I was gonna go under there and measure because I do have a torch and a welder.
What more could you ask?
Yeah, as long as it's this wide and it's I can mount it this far from the front suspension. Those are my playground, and I'll just go to the junkyard and pull one out of a Suzuki or whatever meets the measurements and use that and do it kind of old school.
Joseph Geisler, in your opinion, what will handle more torque, the Hemi 4-speed or Tremec TKO 600? I'm not familiar with that Tremec transmission. The Hemi, the 833 Hemi 4-speed is a pretty freaking strong box. I do you know anything about the Tremecs?
The TKO it's a nice unit, and 600 means 600 foot-pounds of torque it'll handle.
Okay, it will weight. That's the thing.
Probably lighter than that Hemi 4-speed.
Yeah, you gotta watch how things are rated exactly. Because the Hemi 4-speed cars, you're talking about a 4,000 pound. By the time you're done, you're sitting in it. You're talking about 4,000 pounds.
But isn't that Hemi 4-speed? Isn't that an iron case and everything? The transmission itself is. Yeah.
Well, the guts of the transmission really aren't very much different than the standard 833. It's the input shaft, the spline. The Hemi has a core spline, 18 spline, and the regular 4-speed is 23 spline. Other than that, there's really not much in the way of differences.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody's going to jump in there with like specs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're really stout transmissions. Rocco is saying Firm Feel has a sway bar for early A bodies, not cheap.
Well, Rocco, you forget who you're talking to. You're talking to Mr. Cheap.
You're cheap?
Yeah.
Is that thing on that's?
Is it too bright?
Wait, I'm gonna
turn it down because we're being flushed. We look like haven't seen the sun in 11 months. All right.
Is it the wrong thing?
Let's see. No.
It's
on the right ones. Yeah, just ramp her down a little. Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay. Because I'm looking at myself in the thing here, and I'm saying, man, I better eat a steak. I'm looking pretty freaking
Pretty pale,
boy.
yeah.
Let's see. Straight bullet, isn't the 600 warranted to 600 pounds of torque? Well, that's what I was about to say. It's like it's rated for 600 pounds of torque. At what weight? You know what I'm saying? Because like 600 pounds of torque in a 3,000 pound car and 6,000 pounds, 600 pounds of torque in a 6,000 pound car are apples and oranges.
Different.
So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Rocco turned on the lighting on his phone.
Okay. Bop, bop, bop.
It looks like a law office.
Yeah.
Adam likes the background. We need smoking jackets.
Well, I have my. Well, you're always smoking, and I have my.
Yeah. I'm gonna wear a robe
flannel.
next time. I'll wear a robe.
You just show up in a robe,
Yeah.
a nice velvet or silk robe.
Silk.
Yeah. Red silk robe with
Yeah.
a big T on the embroidered on it. Okay.
What do we got here? Barracuda wasn't supposed to be yesterday. We moved it to Thursday nights. It's gonna be Thursday nights for the time being.
Yeah. For the season.
Just to keep you off balance. Is the only reason we're doing this.
The dog season. The dog season is.
Yes, it's dog season. An obnoxiously big smoking pipe. I have a pipe.
The one that you had was
It wasn't really obnoxiously big, but it was pretty substantial. I still have it. It's at the house. Don't forget the Rolex watches.
Well, I have
and the slippers. You need the slippers to go with that. You know, I've never worn slippers. I wouldn't know what that's like.
No. Oh, okay. Kathy, get him some slippers.
I don't want slippers.
You don't know that. You've never had them.
I do know. I can't.
No, you don't know.
No.
You don't want some fuzzy bare feet slippers to.
I've worn nothing but work boots. Oh God, no, and engineer boots. I can't remember the last funeral I went to. I think I might have worn
tennis shoes.
No, I wore work boots.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a change.
No.
No.
I don't want to get soft, man. I don't want to get soft in my old age. Let's see. Adam likes work boots. Work boots rock, man. Zero is in the house. Zero wears nothing but work boots.
Right.
I mean, sometimes that's all he wears, which makes it a little weird, but it's fine, man. Rick S. When I remove the slant six head for a rebuild by the machine shop, the car sits outside all that time. Do I need to worry for rust to form inside the cylinders or just cover them? Thanks. Well, you know what? If it's going to sit for any amount of time, just some grease, you know, like regular axle grease. Just give the cylinders a quick coating with that, and then don't worry about it. And when you're done, clean it off with some gasoline. You know, gasoline.
Or cover a piece of plastic and just keep the mice and critters and rain out of it. Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to freak out. You know what I mean? It's just you know that it's going to be good. Yes, Zero. We're going to keep them stomping, brother. Fubar. Where's Fubar? Fubar in the house too?
Doing it.
Alberto, last question. Is the new Edelbrock AVS2 a good fit for that 4-barrel intake on the 318 Poly, or should I bite the bullet and get a Holly? Depends what you're using it for. And I'm assuming that if it's 318 Poly, you're using it for mostly cruising, mostly like street use, like a power tour type of car, definitely go with the AVS. You will be much happier with the AVS in the long run, over the long haul, than you will with the Holly. If it's more a performance-based build, which I doubt that's what you're going for, then my rule of thumb is if it's more street than strip, go with an Edelbrock Carter-based carburetor. If it's more strip than street, go with a Holly. Let's see. Rick Renfro, EQ Magnum heads. chip in razor thin casting between hardened valve seat inserts so I bring it down to avoid detonation. Always dress down sharp edges, man. Any place you see sharp edges. If not a place for detonation to set in, because a sharp edge will start, it becomes a glow plug. So dress down sharp edges, and they're also stress risers. Any sharp edge can also be a stress riser. So the standard thing for true like high performance or race block prep, the very first thing you do is go through it and knock down any sharp edges and any flash, anything like that. So yeah, dress it down.
Dakota's time out. My daily driver has a Holly double pumper, but I'm a dangerous outlaw.
Yeah, you are dangerous, Dakota. He is.
He is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Zero, you call him a kiddo. You realize he's an old guy now. He's Dakota. How old are you? You got to be like 25, 26 now, right?
Yeah, he's not a young pup anymore.
Yeah. He was still when I met him. He was still like doing stuff with crayons and stuff like that.
Big wheels.
Big wheels. Yeah. He's come a long way. Oh, you're 21? Happy birthday, Dakota. Let's see. Close my collagen solution.
What?
I don't know. I'm going to roll back here. War Ghost. Okay. War Ghost wants to know.
Okay.
Hey guys, how come turbo carbureted engines aren't more popular? Blow-through carb setups seem relatively simple.
Because they're finicky as the day is long.
That's true.
And then they're a pain in the butt because you have to run all the same stuff you would on a fuel-injected engine, like a pressure reference fuel regulator, right?
Yeah.
Right, and you have to have some kind of timing control. So you either lock your distributor out at 20 and then it sucks to start, and in the middle you get nothing. Or you got to buy a separate, MSD box, or so you have all this other stuff around it, and for the price of, you could put fuel injection on it, and then the fuel injection takes care of the timing and fuel and this, so it's, and then blow-through carburetors eventually leak, and you want to kill them and light them on fire and everything else. In my experience,
I mean, there's a bit to go through with a blow-through carburetor. The floats, you got to change the brass floats for the plastic ones. Here's the thing: when blow-through carburetors were popular, okay, when that was the thing, and you go back, you got to go back like 20, 30 years for that, right? When that was the thing, that was the technology.
That's all there was.
That's what there was. There was fuel injection, but people weren't really adapting it the way they do now. It just so happens that for a turbocharged application, nowadays, with what's known today, as compared to what you would have been satisfied with 20 or 30 years ago. And that's the thing. It's just a matter of what are you going to be satisfied with, right? So what you would have been satisfied with a carburetor all those years ago won't cut it today. It just technology has moved beyond that. So, and me personally, I don't know why you don't see more draw-through carburetor setups. Because if I was going to build a blow-through, it would definitely be based on fuel injection. But if I was, I'm still open to the idea. I know you can't intercool a draw-through, but
you don't need to, because the fuel vapor cools the charge.
Yeah. So I would say blow-through fuel injection. Draw-through, you could still get away with a carburetor, but it would still always be less than the potential of a blow-through setup. Danny Boyd drinks about every day. Okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Straight bullet, I would do a throw. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Caesar Gert. Hi guys. I have a GM 350 heavy duty aluminum 12 valve covers. Just set them on for a look and seems baffled it's hitting the cover. Will the gaskets cure the issue? It depends on how close they're hitting.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a witness mark there, just dimple it. It's not that big of a deal. Just wherever, take a little ball peen hammer or a little punch, and just wherever you see a witness mark, just put a little ding in there, and it should clear. You shouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, unless you got some crazy valve train, you should be fine.
Yeah. But don't do that until you put the gasket on, because the gasket could, if the gasket's going to raise it up, 100 thousandths of an inch, 70 to 100 thousandths of an inch, that might be enough.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to do a live tonight.
Are we missing it?
Never mind. Joseph Geisler, is there any advantage to an original six-pack setup over a modern four-barrel? No. It's
cool, and it's I don't know. They're a pain in the ass with the lines and the linkage and everything like that. All three carburetors have to be serviceable instead of just worrying about one in the middle. With one fuel line instead of three fuel lines that are all tied together, and linkages and this and kajinguses and kickdowns.
Yeah, so here's the thing with the six pack, right? In my mind, this has always been, right? The main disadvantage of the six pack is that it's a dual plane intake manifold, and it's not really a very well designed dual plane intake manifold, right?
Okay.
So the upside is that you get 950 CFM with superior front to back distribution than if you had just a single four-barrel. Okay, so just to define that, right? The center carb is 350 CFM. The outer carbs are 500 CFM each. So it's 1,250 CFM on paper. But in reality, it flows 975 CFM, or the same as, like, let's say, 950 Holly. The 950 Holly is going to be centralized. So you've got some distribution issues. When you're dealing with that much volume, you've got some distribution issues front to back, where the six-pack actually lays it out pretty nicely front to back. So the downfall of the six-pack setup, in my mind, is the intake manifold itself, not the carburetors. Because the carburetors is simply, it's a Holly four-barrel with an extra set of secondaries. That's all it is. It's the intake manifold that hurts it.
There you go.
Yes. And KJ Kylie says, chicks dig six-packs.
They do.
And it's Rooster's Restorations. What's happening, brother?
Mm-hmm. This one's for you. So, Juckins dude, however you would say that.
Okay.
Connects dude. Tony, can you tell us what is about the 68 to 71 high compression 340 Chrysler that made it so special? Ford, Mopar, and GM guys all love the small block. I want your take.
It's not the compression ratio that makes those motors special. It's the proportionate. Okay. It's a relatively long rod motor compared to a Chevy or a Ford. You've got a longer rod ratio with it. So it's a 3.31 stroke with a 6.123 rod, which is significantly longer than you're going to get an equivalent size Chevy or Ford package. So that's one advantage. The other thing is the 340 is the largest bore that can be accommodated in that block. It's actually 4100 is the largest that would be after a maximum allowable overbore. So all Chrysler engines were cast with an intended 60 thousandths overbore. So the biggest bore you can get on a small block Chrysler is 4100 minus that 60 thousandths overbore. You end up with 4-inch plus 40, which is what size the 340 is. And then what happens is the combustion chamber, it's just wide enough that it fits that 202 intake valve without any shrouding. So it's the combination of bottom end geometry and a very happy combustion chamber, very happy exhaust port. If you look at the exhaust port in any small block Mopar, but specifically you asked about those 340s, it's a raised port. It's like it's a kind of port that you didn't see on General Motors or Chrysler engines until much later in the 70s and into the 80s. It's just an excellent, happy, strong motor. You know, you just, that's why people love them. It has nothing to do with compression ratio. Uh-oh. One of us needs to hit the blue button.
All right, I'll do it this time.
All right.
You're smoking.
I'll
You're
watch.
busy. Okay.
Okay.
No.
Z.
Yeah.
What car should I consider? What car should I get considering reliability, durability, and affordability? I'm looking at a car made in the year 2000. What brand?
If you're just going for reliability, period.
Yeah.
I mean, go get a 2000 Camry and drive that for 100 years.
I think performance.
Performance-wise, it didn't say.
Oh no, he didn't. Okay. What car considering reliability, durability, and affordability? Yeah, hard to go wrong with a Camry.
But if you don't want to be grandma, you could get what would be a good 2000 car.
I'm an XJ freak. Okay, I've got 6 of the things, and they're all from that range. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so reliability, durability, and affordability. The XJ, the Jeep XJ, like runs off the scale in every one of those categories. So that would be my recommendation.
Or if you get a non-4-liter Ford Ranger, something like that.
And yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joe K. Mopar 6-pack versus a tri-power L71 42700 Corvette. Same exact carburetors. Same intake manifold. Obviously, one is for a Chrysler, one's for a Chevy. But the same design of the intake manifold, the layout of the intake manifold. And the carburetors are literally identical. The only difference between the Chevy carburetors and the Chrysler carburetors is that the Chrysler carburetors have a 5/16 inlet on the passenger side of the motor, the right side of the motor, and the Chevy has a 7/16 inlet, 7/16 inlet on the driver's side, right? So if you just swap the bowls from Chrysler to General Motors on either of those, they're the same. And by that token, you go back to the Fords because all of that setup with the 2300 series Holleys all originated on the Fords, the 406s and whatnot. And the main thing with the Fords is that they use accelerator pumps in the primary and secondary carburetors, where the Chrysler and the General Motors are vacuum secondary. So there.
Complete 6-pack history.
Trivia.
Yes.
If you went to direct connection, let's say it's 1975.
Okay.
And you have a 6-pack Cuda or Roadrunner, whatever it is, right? And you want their upgraded carburetors. You know what you got?
The Holly Fords?
Ford 406 carburetors.
Yeah.
There was literally, if you got the direct connection carburetors that were the step up from the factory ones, you got one.
The Fords?
Yeah, the Ford 406 carbs.
And Alberto, here's another question about his Poly. That's okay.
Yeah.
In case I didn't find the intake for the Poly 318, I read that the Holly 500 is the best option to keep my stock 2-barrel intake. What's your take?
So the stock intake manifold in that, the throttle bores are sized for the BBD and the Stromberg and BBD carburetors they put on there. Very tiny openings. Now you could use an adapter and mount either a 350 or a 500 Holly 2-barrel on there. And the 500 is a good carburetor. But you're going to have to open the original ports, right? With the original throttle openings on that BBD-based intake manifold. Otherwise, it's got a choke point. You know, the throttle blades on the Holly are going to be bigger than the holes they feed through.
And it doesn't matter how big a carb you put on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Grease Belly Garage, Jamie's review of the Charger was excellent. I agree. I talked to him last night on the phone, and I told him, I said, you did an amazing job on that car. You did a lot of, probably because Jamie is such a nice freaking guy. You know what I mean? But he did a really good, like, did you see Jamie's review of the Charger?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Like, if it was like Car and Driver doing a review of the car, right?
He took his time and he did. Yeah, he put the work in.
He covered every little detail of it. He was fair to it in a lot of ways, which I wouldn't have been because I have a personal dislike for some of the things that it represents. But I'm not going to let that color JB's review of this thing because I thought he did a fantastic job, and I told him that.
I talked to him Tuesday. I was at work probably talked to him for 45 minutes. We were just talking about, world and life and YouTube and everything else. Yeah.
Z. Okay, with my last question in mind, which car made in 2000 is easiest to work on yourself for a non-car person, also while being cool? Dude, I'm sticking with the XJ.
Yeah, pretty easy to work on.
I'm going to stick with the XJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the interchangeability, the number of parts that are out there for, they're so bulletproof. A little tight working around the front, because it's a long motor for a short engine compartment, so doing like things like water pumps or anything like that on the front,
yeah.
a little bit of a pain in the ass. But I mean, you want to do like basic things like tune-ups and oil changes. You're literally working on a 1960s car. Literally, 1960s car. It does not get any easier than an XJ. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay. Holding down the fort.
Yes.
All right. Okay. They're all giving their opinions on what car to get. The carburetors are hard to find. Monte Carlo Grand Prix Caravan, yeah. Well, the Caravan working on yourself, they had those early ones had transmission issues. How about a Cordoba? Just saw a Charger yesterday. Said the body styling is pretty good overall. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just giant. No dealers in Minnesota want to stock the new Charger. To find one. No, because as soon as it gets cold, the thing's a brick. Territory, what's going on, Abel? How you doing, bud? Oriented Camaro Firebird LS1. Welcome to Zenith's GMW bodies are cheap and parts are plentiful. They're all talking about what the
most reliable.
Yeah, 2000, and that's you get people from every camp in there.
Well, it's good. I mean, he's looking for opinions.
Mm-hmm. You got
them. Canucks dude, what are your guys' favorite Mopar F body with the E58 360? The Petty Street kit cars, Super Coupe Aspen RTs, or Volare Roadrunners? I'd have to go with the Aspen RT.
Yeah, if you're gonna commit yourself to that body style. Yeah.
Although I always thought that the Roadrunners and the Spitfire Orange were good-looking cars.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Picture of Volare Roadrunner.
Oh, Joseph, here's a basic Mopar question for you, sir. How about 1972 440 block stamped HP? Would this be a police motor? Thank you.
Could be. All HP means is that it had. So in earlier years, so 67, 68, 69, 70, HP meant that it had a 10-to-1 compression ratio. In later years, it didn't mean anything. It had nothing to do with compression ratio. HP means that the engine has a windage tray, It means it has dual valve springs, or single spring with a damper. What else?
I don't know.
I know. I forgot. It doesn't mean very much.
Not in the later ones, no.
Yeah, on a 72 440, that's really essentially what you're going to come down to. It's the springs with the damper and a windage tray.
Territory. My work just into a big long night. Just snapped a new aluminum bolt in my BMW valve cover. Yay!
Oh,
Hoping some conspiracy theories from Tony will give me a laugh.
which conspiracy theory do you want?
All right, yeah. Which one do you want to pick? Did you see any of this JFK file vomit that they put out? 8,000 pages or something.
80,000.
Yeah.
80,000. That's right, Dakota. HP exhaust manifolds. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. And the dual exhaust depends on the car, Paul. Like a lot of the full size Chryslers had big singles, but yes, Rooster, I know about the 6744. Yeah, 80,000 pages of.
Well, they said they were going to do it, and they did it. So.
And none of it's redacted.
Yeah. So there you go. It's too much. People will just give up, and then it's a non-issue.
No, they're in there hunting. They're in there hunting.
Just throw it in AI and see what AI comes up with.
Well, the AI wouldn't have really had access to it until now.
Right. Yeah. Take these. Yeah. Format them, get them into, and see what that thing comes up with. But if people are all over it, so it's the new distraction. Look over here while we're.
I think it's all building to something.
Mm-hmm.
It's all building to something. There are reasons why the stuff's being delayed.
Yeah.
Mexican spec. Come on, Tony. We all know the best F body is the Mexican Super B with the 360 and no smog on it all. I know nothing about. I've never seen a Mexican Super B. Not to say that they're not great cars. I've never in my life encountered one.
That's a vision, a picture of
Mexican Super B.
Yeah,
with a sombrero.
Yeah, giant bee with a sombrero. Yeah, bottle of tequila and one tentacle.
Yeah, or a taco.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fubar just put up a link to my merch. Thank you, Fubar. So if you want any of our stuff, our shirts, or our hats, or I don't even know what's there in the store, Fubar put up a link to that. I believe he also put up a link to your stuff.
Did he?
Dr.
Oh my gosh, I know Fubar is amazing.
He is amazing.
Yep, it's my channel.
Oh, Zero put the link to Dr. Art's channel.
And they can get the Tuning is Math. Let Dr. Art do it.
Nice,
shirt.
Nice. And you can follow up on the latest things with the Barracuda.
Yeah, with Schmog. Boy, I got people were just, you get people from all camps that think it's cool, and some are mad like Kathy Cinnamon Bananas. She's, doesn't want a name change, and some people are like, oh, this is cool. So it's
a big world with a lot of different
opinions. So it was kind of fun.
El Stingo. That's for the Mexican Super B.
El Stingo.
I like that. Alan Shilbro. So you're saying aliens killed JFK? I'm not going to speculate because I value having a YouTube channel. So I'm not going to say.
Just going to stay way off of that. Yeah.
Yes, there are certain things I know to just stay hands off. Let's not go.
Let somebody else put it out there.
You were saying Dr. Scribbles. Oh, Dr. Scribbles.
Dr. Scribbles. No, it's Smog. And nobody got it yet, but that's okay. Why I named it.
I still don't get it.
Well, think of what was the fancy high performance Barracuda was like the S, right?
Formula S, yeah.
Formula S. Okay, S. And what's the updated pushrod Chrysler engine, the Magnum. SMA. It's not perfect, but there's some other stuff to that.
You putting a Magnum in it?
Maybe.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
I know nothing. You'll have to follow his channel. Go to his channel.
And find out. There's should be hopefully some stuff on it this weekend. But I've been 12-hour days all week, so.
Rooster's Restorations. So Tony, why have we never talked? We both cut our teeth at drag strip as kids. I've talked about that all the time. I've mentioned my
yeah.
I
tell us about your adventures, Rooster.
Yeah, like I spent like literally 20 years of my life doing nothing but going to and from drag strips, you know, and in between street racing. Scotty Kilmer's in the chat.
What?
Greasebelly Garage said, did somebody say Matrix? Scotty Clickbait Kilmer entered the chat. Is Scotty in here?
Come on, Scotty, where you at?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It was a false Kilmer.
Yeah, false Kilmer sighting.
Yes. Hot shoe. Drag racing is where my handle came from. That's what they used to call drivers back in like 1969. You know.
I used the hot shoe for that car.
Yeah, that was the groovy name for a driver. Hot shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Who died? What?
I don't know.
Oh, it was a joke. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of I quit, he's like, I died. Still posted a video, but he's dead.
Rocco, rev up your autism. Swinging Daddy-O. Yeah, Swinging Daddy-O is a hot shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Zero saying he died a few times.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Scotty's died countless times.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Boyd is saying Burt Reynolds called Michael Jan Vincent a hot shoe kid in Hooper.
Okay.
I've never seen the movie. Oh, Greg, Grease Belly Garage was clickbaiting us.
Oh, okay. Did we click? Yeah.
Zero saying, for the record, so is Uncle Tony. What did I do, Zero?
Are you dead?
When I got out of the magazines, I yes, but not really. When I got out of the magazines back in like 1989, whatever year it was, I was like, I didn't want to have anything to do with the business or anybody in it. So, because people kept trying to get in touch with me. So I spread the rumor that I was shot and killed in a bar in Queens. And that got around.
Okay.
That got around. So a couple of years later, when I just ventured off to the drag strip, you know, just to see what was going on, right? Yeah. It's like, I thought you were dead. Sure.
No. I just left.
Rooster read those magazines. Lots of people did.
Mm-hmm.
They're still pushing Cars Illustrated. There's a whole website.
Yeah, the whole Facebook guy, and he's just regurgitating all that stuff.
Jeff, so how was the big block Chevy? Oh, Jesus, please, Jeff. He's hard to get. He's hard to nail down, right? He's hard to nail down. I got supposedly the block is in the building across the lot from me over here. As soon as I can, I'll have my hands on all this stuff and we'll go.
because you got to get his block, then you got to get that 383. I noticed John back there. He has a black Bronco stash back there.
It's his buddies. He's letting his buddy keep it there.
Oh, his buddy may be missing a Bronco. Sorry, John. Needed that one.
War Ghost, trying to talk about the power potential for the dollar of a big block Chevy versus a Caddy 500. Want to get a 64 sedan DeVille and swap the engine. See, the only reason you'd ever do a big inch Caddy like that is just for the novelty factor.
And just a smooth cruise.
Yeah, smooth cruiser, novelty factor. You know, nice torquey thing. You know, if you want to tow a boat, yeah, the 500 is the Caddy is a good choice. But for performance, no. The valve train won't stand any type of spring pressure or RPM.
It checks out at 4,500 RPM.
Yeah, everything there was designed for off idle torque. That's what the motor does, right? So no, I wouldn't even consider it for a performance build. Good to leave in their stock for a cruiser. Now, there are people who will argue with that, obviously. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I got 1,600 horsepower out of a normally aspirated Caddy 429.
Yeah, with a two barrel, yeah.
Yeah, you know, there are people who will devote their lives to making an engine work, right? Given the fact that you just want to screw around and have some fun, I'm going to say you're not one of those people, and don't waste your time with it.
Here's a question for you. Canucka Strood. Which modern camshaft would you recommend for a small block Mopar that would have a similar sound to a direct connection 484 lit purple shaft from the 80s?
That 484 is like really the stock 360 cam, more or less. So the stock cam, we're talking about just lift, right? So the stock cam is 444. It's an extra 40 thousandths lift. It's really, that was an extremely mild cam, right? That's actually the street Henry grind, 284, 471, okay, 40. Very mild cam. Almost any RV cam, you know, is going to more or less be that. Your sound is all going to be from lobe separation, right? Your LSA. The tighter, the more lumpy it'll be.
What about the 80s Mercedes, the era of the built like a no?
What was that now?
They're talking about cars and stuff like Joe K. What about the 80s Mercedes? You know, the big giant tank.
Oh,
Mercedes.
yeah.
They're fun to look at, but they're horrible to work on.
Yes. Yeah, like a bank vault. They were. They were used as taxi. So those things were like, they were designed as taxi cabs. That's what they use in Germany. They use Mercedes for taxi cabs. At least they did back in the day. I have no idea what they use now. Stray Bullet says Hot Rod put a 500 Cadillac in a Chevette. Yeah, I remember that. But you see, that's a good application for it, because you could take a stock 500 Caddy and stick it into something like a Chevette.
And it'll haul ass because there's no weight.
Yeah, that would be brutal fun. But, you know, add 1,000 pounds like to a typical regular car, and that fun kind of bleeds away quick.
You're right. And if you would have put a 427 big block Chevy in that Chevette, it would just wheelie from here to Texas. Yeah.
Josh Holman, how on earth do you fit a 500-inch 500 with Chevette? The motor's bigger than the car. I'm trying to picture the engine compartment on those cars.
A Chevette that's small, but you can just move the firewall back.
Well, the Caddy isn't really an exceptionally wide engine.
No, but it's longer. It's
yeah. I don't know, but they fit it in there. They did it.
Mm-hmm. They put them in Gremlins and all kinds of little cars.
Stray Bolt saying, I think they were trying to hit tens on $1,000 budget. You're not going to do it with
the Caddy,
and a Chevette.
No, you just don't have the power to pull it, through that wind block.
Right, Joaquin. Just like I fit the Slant 6 in the Miata. Yeah, you can make anything fit anything. That's right, Steve. That was Cole was saying that was Steve Manyanti build. You're right, because I remember Steve telling me about that we did a live. Right before he got sick, and I think we were talking about that car. Steve was saying the engine went into the passenger compartment a little.
Just a little.
Kevin Flynn, is it possible to bore 318-90 over and fit 360 pistons in it? Only if you're going to turn down the mains on the 360 crank and drop them in there too, because the pin is going to be a different place. Remember, the 318 and the 360 have a different stroke. These same length connecting rod, but they have a different stroke. So a 360 piston is going to sit down in the hole if you mount it into a 318 block. But yes, many people have gone 90 over on 318s and gotten away with it. Let's see. 302 in a Miata on the showed rough. That's actually a nice swap. I sold one of those in the flesh at one of the Cars and Coffee I went to like last year.
302 in a little Miata.
Yeah, that was a nice fit. The 302 fits in there like a glue there.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota always has his engines built to board a half-inch over.
That's nice.
Just take it 500 over. I don't care.
Yeah.
500. Buddy Carfano wants to know, what's the most difficult car repair you ever do? Or did? You mean did, right? What's the most difficult repair you've ever done?
There's tons of them. The freaking, for one, it's the water pump at any 3800 Buick while it's still in the car.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah.
You ever do head gaskets on a North Star in the car?
No, I wouldn't even want to attempt anything on a North Star.
North Star head gaskets in the car. Yeah, had to be the most difficult thing I've ever.
Timing belts on PT Cruisers in the car because you got to kind of unbolt everything and
yeah.
Yeah,
the PT Cruisers are terrible front.
Terrible. There's you need like this much more room.
Yeah.
And it's just not there. So you got to unbolt everything and shift everything over and jack up. Worst might be like a Fox body heater core.
Yeah, I did a couple of really brutal heater cores back on the day, but I don't remember which cars they were.
Oh. Yeah, everything's got to come out.
Oh, heater core on a Neon. The heater core on the Neon was so bad that you had to disconnect the entire wiring harness under the hood to snake the harness through the firewall far enough to get everything, to get access.
Ugh.
So like literally, the entire underhood harness had to be disconnected and shoved back.
So to give enough slack to get.
Yeah. I did one of those.
I did what?
One. Straywell is saying the SN95 Mustangs are the same for the heater core.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to find out.
Yeah. The Explorer timing chains on the 4 liters. That back timing chain.
Oh, I forgot what it was. I blocked that out of my memory.
Right, then you tried to erase that.
I blocked that completely out of my memory. He's right. And
it wasn't that. It was just so overly complicated, and you had to take the motor out to do it, and everything just rusted on those because most of them came from up north or started up north, but back.
Danny Boy saying he used to do a Fox Mustang AC heater core in a couple of hours. Driveway of Misfits is saying modern Audis have the timing chains on the back of the engine.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and if you go into some where you got exotics where you got to pull the motor to do the timing belt on.
I have it. I used to have you talk about heater course. So everybody, you got your specialties, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to do the Taurus, the later model Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable heater course in like an hour and a half. And those things, people back then, people were getting $800,000 for them. I used to charge $500.
Okay.
And I knock them out. Just boom, boom, boom. I had it just down to such a science. You just dive in there, click, 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 click,
And what's staying on that? A Crown Victoria with climate control, the automatic climate control, the blend doors that eventually do go out under the dash.
Yeah.
And then when you turn the AC on, it just blocks that and pours heat out at you. Because the AC is working and it's sweating and there's dripping and you're getting no cold air.
The gear breaks off the blend
Yeah.
door, right?
Yeah. And they're behind the dash.
Yep.
So you got to take the whole car apart to get one little clink, and then you'll end up doing it again in a couple of years.
There was one of those. I don't remember it was a Ford, but the trick with that one was to actually cut the heater box and then epoxy it back together again.
I think you've seen that done. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One that got me when I was a kid. I'll never forget this. Straight six Chevy in a van.
Okay.
It's got to come out through the driver's compartment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess I was like maybe 18, 19 years old when I'm doing this job for a customer, and now I'm stuck. I got this thing like it just will not come right. It's wedged between the dashboard and the floor with like not even close to enough room, and I tried every way under the sun. And I was like, I guess you got to take the engine apart to do this. So I stuck the engine back in there and I worked my balls off to take the head off of it and then everything else, right? And a friend of mine comes by and he says, we just did one of those in my shop the other day. I says, it's crazy, right? He says, no, it was the easiest thing ever. So with that, he reaches over inside the car and he goes, poof, like that to the dashboard, right?
And the dashboard.
The dashboard breaks. So they designed it. So like, I guess if you take the radio out, I don't remember, but I had it out. It was just a bare dash frame there.
Yeah.
And the dash frame was made out of a material that was supposed to break up, but the fabric covering would hold it in place. So after you broke it to get the engine out, you just push it back down, you put the radio in, and it's good as new. And that's how it was designed. I didn't know that.
Poof.
20 Cent Motors says Roger Stone was just on OAN. He pretty much informed on the JFK murder while LBJ was one next to you. I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to touch any of that. I have my reasons, and you'll see what they are maybe a couple months from
now. Is a stock EH1 360 on a 1978 Little Red Express actually a stout engine in your opinion? It supposedly had a 68 340 cam, red stripe valve springs, double roller timing chain, and a monster 850 Carter.
Well, it was just the regular thermal quad, right? That was no different than the one that they'd have on any of the other engines. The 68 340 cam, it's the 68 340 4-speed cam, because the 68 340 automatic cam, and then the 69 and 70 and 71 340 and automatics or 4-speed automatics are the same. So it would be the 68 340 4-speed cam. I mean, it was a good engine, but it was nothing to do headstands over. You know what I mean? It's not. It was a good engine, but nothing crazy exotic.
Newer Camaros require you to remove the windshield to gain access to the heater box screws.
Yeah.
The solution is to
hot knife it out.
Hot knife it out was the word. Yeah.
Let's see. I always avoid the mini bike thing. I don't have. I got rid of them. I don't have any mini bikes anymore.
I don't have any go-karts. Yeah, we got
rid of all the little.
So it was like a weird little phase.
Yeah,
and then
it was a little phase. It was a little phase.
little child phase, and it was gone. No, I just have junk.
Only 83 likes. We've been on for an hour. We've only got 83 likes. Does that hurt your feelings, Dr. Hart?
Well, I don't have a feeling.
It makes me feel like a piece of shit.
I don't have any feelings.
I really don't have any either. But if I pretend that I do, it'll make people want to.
It would hurt your cold black heart. Yes.
Steve Austin, do you think Trump will get rid of the Federal Reserve? It's going. It's going. Trump is in there to liquidate the corporation. Going to be a little bit of a time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's literally what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's liquidating the corporation. The corporation is bankrupt. The Federal Reserve, the IRS, all of these agencies are all part of the corporation.
Yeah, they're just too bloated and they suck money and yeah.
Yeah. Joke, yes, Joe K. We should probably, Joe K and everybody else who's very enthusiastic about talking about these things, just hold off, right? Hold off. I'll tell you when the time is right, but now is not the time, okay? Certain things we'll talk about, certain things not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus. It jumped up to 103 likes. How did that happen so fast? It's almost like we have approval. People approve of what we're doing.
Get out of here.
It makes me feel good. Like an American. Yes. Yes. Standing foot. I just did some fuel line work on my truck. And now it's 6 a.m. fitting after the other and 1 foot of braided hose.
Okay.
I got to read that again, standing foot. I just did some fuel line work on my truck. And now it's 6 a.m. fitting after the other. And, okay. Dude, listen to me. If it's regular fuel line, right, I use water supply hose. Just use water supply hose. Make sure you get the braided stuff because some of it is nylon on the outside and some of it is braided stainless. Braided stainless water supply hose. I use it for fuel line. I've been using it for fuel line for eons. The stuff is just amazing. It works. It's cheap, and you don't have to spend your life savings on AM fittings. Just use a regular band clamp on it. Dakota's timeout. Tony, did you come up with for me any chargers for sale? I have not, brother man. I've been so busy with stuff. I really haven't. I haven't been looking for cars at all. But now that you've reminded me, I'll keep my eyes open. Steve Austin, what was your favorite coffee bean to roast? Costa Rican. Costa Rica was just the nicest bean, nutty, full. I mean, just. I based all of my roasts when I had the coffee house. I based them all around Costa Rica, and Ethiopian Sidamo, which has got that little bit of blueberry in it. You know, a lot of people don't know that the coffee bean is actually the coffee is actually related to the blueberry.
Really?
Yes. It's just another version of the blueberry.
It's just a little hard nut blueberry.
Yes.
Derivative cousin.
Yes. It's relative to the blueberry, and certain coffees. Like the Ethiopian Sidamo is a perfect example. Actually, you taste the blueberry in it, and a medium roast. You can lose it really easy if you go too far.
If you go dark roast.
Yeah, but a medium roast, you can actually taste the blueberry in it.
Really?
Steve Austin likes Sidamo. CPT3RK. Tony, you recommended doing home engine 3-3 rebuild for the inexperienced through watching YouTube videos? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I actually have a 3D3 that I'm trying to determine exactly what to do. I know what the finished result of it's going to be. I was actually talking to Dr. White about it, but I don't know how I want to handle it content-wise. I'm trying to think of an interesting way to do yet another engine refresh, but it's got to be something interesting that we haven't done yet. So we do have a 3D3 build coming.
And it's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
White Trash Motorsports saying Evil Energy makes decent quality PTFE hose and fittings for a reasonable price. I did not know that. I have plumbed several turbo cars with it.
Yeah, that's what the Ranger has. It's all Evil Energy stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's all water supply hose.
No, it's black nylon braided hose.
Oh, okay.
And then they just sent me a new fuel cell for it and all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah. I use their stuff too. Once in a while, you got to use a little sealant on the threads, but, you know, that's okay.
Joseph Geisler, with all the wrenching you do, which battery electric ratchet is the one to go with if you can only pick one? Thank you. I don't use one. You?
I don't, but if I was to buy one, it'd probably be like a Milwaukee or a DeWalt or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I use battery powered 3/8 and half-inch impacts.
Okay.
And those are like Briobis. They're just Home Depot stuff, but I buy you chunk because they're 12-volt batteries and they're real small that you get them with it. And you go to Amazon and you buy the offshore ones, batteries that are like twice as big.
Uh-huh.
And they plug right in and they're like, gah, 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 gah. They give you all kinds of more amperage. It's quite fun.
I have all air tools at the house because I come from the air tool generation. So I've got the big compressor and I got impact guns and air ratchets and everything else. And since I've been doing this channel, I've been using nothing but either manual tools or cord. Like I have I have a corded impact gun.
Mm-hmm.
I have a corded die grinder. Everything I have has got cords. I just don't want to deal with batteries, man. I'm not a battery person. If I was doing this every day for a living and I had to turn out shit quick, yes, I would be using battery powered tools, but I don't use them at all.
Zero saying he got Jack in the Box ads. Now, I was amazed because I was driving today and I'm going up Old Hickory Boulevard towards the north part of Nashville, and there was a freaking Jack in the Box.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like this got to be like the last one in the area.
Jack in the Box is a funny thing. It's the fast food place that refuses to die. Because I remember back in the 70s, Jack in the Box was like in trouble because we had them on Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
And we had one that I would take teachers' cars all the time. They had them at the auto shop, and we had a Jack in the Box a couple of miles away. And I used to always grab a teacher's car and run over to Jack in the Box. And they went out of business. And then like they just continuously go out of business. And then they came down to Tennessee and there were Jack in the Boxes everywhere. And then one by one they all closed down.
I know there was one right by the house.
Yeah.
When I moved into that house, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect because you get those little dollar tacos, which are delicious. Yeah. And then one day they're gone, and I'm like, oh man, I was bummed. And this is, if it wasn't, it was like freaking dark 30 when I rolled by that place this morning, and I'm like, I don't really want to start my day with Jack in the Box tacos, but if it was like noon, I'd have been in there.
Let's see. Friends H, air tools and videos would make talking and demonstrate a harder trick. Yeah, the compressor is a pain in the ass. But then there was no such thing as YouTube back when that was
right. There was no such thing as electric tools back then. You wanted cool tools, you had a compressor in the air, and you were the shiznit.
Joe K saying it's like the Scotty Kilmer of restaurants. Hot Shoe loved his 68 GTX. They were beautiful. I'm partial to the 69s. I think 68 was I mean wrong. 68 was a great year, but I think they really nailed that GTX theme in '69 with that trim that runs along the bottom. It's just
Oh,
beautiful.
you like that extra trim on them? And
Yeah. I hated it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to like I would look at GTXs with disgust. You know what I mean? Because they had stuff all over them.
Mhm.
But now that I'm
I just like that little chrome, flare accent on the hips of the rear quarter panels, and then the rest you can keep.
Saving Chevys was I there when Eddie at the Motorplex? I actually was. Yes, that happened. That happened at the Texas Motorplex. I guess it was 1980. Oh God, what year was that? 1988. It was 1988. I used to talk to Fuzzy Carter fairly frequently back then. I was a kid. I was just coming up in the nitro thing. I was just learning. I was graduating from like wiping tires to like cleaning oil pans and doing stuff like that, right? At about that time, late 1980s, and late 1980s, 88, 89, 90, like that. I had gotten to talk to Fuzzy Carter, and he was a really good guy. That was Eddie Hill's crew chief, and then he passed not too long after that.
Your super chat. Is that what you're talking about?
The Eddie Hill 499.
Oh, okay.
Saving Chevy is saying it was 1988. I watched the main event video, doc on Eddie Hill. Saying the main event, Dean Papadakis. I knew Dean Papadakis back in the day. He was a piece of work, Dean.
Most guys named Dean usually have some kind of issue.
He was crazy. He was crazy. He was a great filmmaker, right? Ron Ward, I bet you know Dean. Ron Ward, do you know Dean Papadakis? So Dean would hit. Now remember, this is before like GoPros and like handy, dandy like recording devices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were camcorders, but the quality was terrible. You couldn't
horrible.
So Dean would hit all of the races, national events, match races, anything. Right? If there was an event, he was there, and he was there with full production, like broadcast quality TV
cameras and
camera equipment. So he had his guy carrying around like the electronics, all the other shit, and he had this big thing, and he wanted the shot. Okay, he wanted the fucking shot, and he had like this artistic eye. Okay. So he would like pan down the car and come over the top like this, but then he would like with funny cars, before they put the side windows on them, he'd just take the camera and just shove it in the window with a funny car. It's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the guy's trying to concentrate on the light. You got to
no boundaries. Dean had absolutely no boundaries, and zero, anything given. He was a very unique individual.
When did Mopar car clinics end?
Well, probably right at the end of '71. I don't believe they did them into '72.
Mm. What about Dean Martin? I don't know.
I don't either.
Oh, I said people with Dean usually have some issues.
Yeah. No, we're talking about Dean Papadakis. Is that a left hand? No, bro. I roll my own cigarettes. It's just regular tobacco. Granddad's Junk has 41 subscribers. Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't really answer this because if there was anything in particular I wanted, I would have it. Like
or I've already had 3 of them.
Or I've already had them and I'm tired of them. And my tastes change from day to day. So like the answer I give you today would be a different answer tomorrow. Or the answer I gave you now would be different by the end of this live. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
But let's let Dr. Art answer this question. If you could have one Mopar muscle car, 1968 to 71, right down to color and stripes, which one? Don't consider resale value.
A blue 68 GTX with the black stripe on the rear. You know, I would make my own kind of thing, and the kind of the black and the flat black hood.
Well,
I know they didn't make them that.
Plymouth wouldn't have a tail stripe.
Right.
Okay.
But I would put it on there because
he would put it on there.
But
and then purists would go nuts.
But yeah, that medium, B5 blue or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And then with a blacked out hood. And,
my Roadrunner was B5.
Yeah. Kind of the same, almost the same setup.
Let's see.
I have a small block Chevy 350 that has a rod knocks after it heats up. Would putting 2050 oil in it help? Right now it has 520.
You're not going to fix anything, but you'd make it a little quieter.
Make it a little quieter for a while.
Yeah.
Until it got real mad. It's just, you want to clean up 2050 or you want to clean up 520? You know.
Steve Austin, who was your favorite guest on Art Bell Coast to Coast?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean,
I used to, the Dr. Doom was okay.
I mean, there were so many people that came on and talked about all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah,
it's hard to.
I can't really pick one. Let's see. Eddie Cobra Guy, 71 purple Duster 340 wedge hood.
Okay.
That would be 72 for that sticker on there. Rooster restoration. See you later, Rooster. Knock knock. Who's there? Cylinder 3. How's your car's extended warranty? The main CD Burlock. Tony, Drag Boss has 65 psi on cranking pressure. Yeah, I we talked about that already. I don't know what he's doing.
But if it was, well, it's out of the range. But if it was the wife, she wants a Hemi convertible Belvedere.
66.
Yeah.
Nice car.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. Timeless. Beautiful car.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Tony's read every one of those books. Which books?
All these.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I read them first, and then Tony read them.
What goes? Tony, do a funny video with the Roadrunner where you dress just like the 70s it came from, talk the same, and race someone who you would have. Dude, I am literally exactly the same as I was in the 70s. I dress the same. I do all of the same stuff. I have not changed. The world has changed around me. I've gotten much older, but I look and sound exactly as I did in 1978. 30 pounds heavier. Yes, Ducky. Ducky is elusive. Ducky is very elusive.
It's a camouflage duck.
We'll get to Ducky soon.
Red Armstrong, my 5.7 2012 Ram, 187,000 mile Hemi died today from a massive tick.
Let's see.
There'll be a 5.7 on Marketplace in a few weeks. Rad when pulled.
Canuck dude, or would you rather have Freiberger's orange Hemi Super Bee or his white crop duster? Neither. I'd take that 72 400 4-speed car he's screwing around with. Nubs with guns. I had to have read a lot of your articles when I was a kid. I used to buy any Mopar mag I could find. Then you read a lot of that stuff when you were a kid.
Read all your stuff, yeah.
Well, not all of it. I did a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with Mopars. But if you read Mopar magazines, it was all over them.
Yeah.
I used to bang out some magazine stories, like the way I do YouTube videos. Like I'll drop 3 of them a week, 4 of them a week on average. That's how often I used to drop magazine stories back in the 80s. So I
same cadence, yeah.
I show up in monster truck books. I show up in like Corvette reviews and stuff like. I mean, you name it. I was any place that would pay me to sit and bang out some words. I was there. I helped put the first issue of Guitar World together.
Really?
Yes. And I helped put together the first issue of New Woman when I was like 25 or 26. It was the same publishing company. I was packaged as a magazine for Harris.
Yeah. So they're like, here, call this guy.
And well, it wasn't that. It was like they needed help, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were like shorthanded. So I was doing Mopar Action, Mustang Action, Drag Racing Illustrated. I was doing like all of those magazines. And then like I could pick up a couple of bucks by helping them with Guitar World.
And New Woman.
Pick up a New Woman. So I did that too.
Did you ever do an article for Playboy?
No. Never did anything for everything I did. All of the writing I did was for automotive publications. Although I think I did some captions and stuff for Guitar World. I knew zero about guitars, and at the time I knew even less about women. But I could get some magazine shit done back then.
Did you ever meet Hugh Hefner?
No.
No.
Saving Chevys, thank you. Although I almost got a check from Bob Guccione. Saving Chevys. Are we ever going to get the video about your used car salesman neighbor, John Taddeo, John the fireman? I don't know. Maybe at some point. Thank you for the super chat. Joseph Geisler from 68 to 71. Which of the big three is considered to have produced the toughest 250 pickup? That's the most random question that's ever been asked on the internet to me. Geez, I don't know. If I had to pick a tough, durable 2500, I Chevy and GMC. I mean,
yeah,
just in my mind, it's like
a Ford or Chevy, kind of the same, because they were just tanks with no suspension when they were a 250 back then. You know, and straight axles and Danas, and
yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of difference.
Really simple things.
Mm-hmm.
He's just able to say he's starting to think I don't like Fords. I do, but they're even hardcore Ford guys will recognize that they're trouble prone. They're complicated to work with. They're trouble prone. It's like perfect perfect example. I'm going to give an example why I shy away. Why Fords? I'm just like, you know what? Screw that. Okay, Fords. The flex plates. The flex plate. I used to dread doing Ford engine swaps. I swap engines at anything, any day, anytime, anywhere. I hated doing Fords because of that stupid freaking setup with the 4 studs on the torque converter. They got to fit through the holes in the flex plate, and you put the nuts on them.
Yeah, and you gotta line if the certain ones they had the drain holes, so you had to line up the converter.
You got to line up everything, and then you got to sneak your fingers between the bell housing and the flywheel, and then pull the converter forward, right? And no, why did they do that? See, it's little stuff like that that will forever taint any experience I have with something. And that's just an example. Oscar Gonzalez, did you ever use a fake name for an article? Many, yes. I wasn't in it for the fame or the notoriety. I was in it to get a check. And if my name appeared too many times in a magazine, then we would just start changing names and stuff like that, or leaving a name off completely.
And as long as you get paid.
Yeah, give me the check. That's all I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. 20-cent Motors. Ford has a different design language. They're like the Mongoloids. Canucks dude, how popular was the original direct connection program at its peak? Not as popular as so when they were doing the clinics, right? The supercar clinics, 1970, 69, 70, 71. It wasn't direct connection back then. It was called hustle stuff, right? They didn't call it direct connection until like 73 or 74. But during that period between they started the direct connection thing and let's say 1979, right? It was very important to us as Chrysler guys. Like it was, I can explain it to you. It was like a religious thing. You know what I mean? It was just like, we were kin with the actual designers of this shit, and at least in our minds, it was popular. It was important, but not as big as it was, let's say, during the performance clinic days. Carl J, is the smart requirements in California going to change soon? Will it be nationwide? From what I understand, CARB is dead. The CARB, the California Air Resource Board. As far as I know,
they just pulled the money and they're gone.
They're done, right? So yeah, all of you guys, I should do a video on this. All of you guys are worried about, you're not going to be able to do this, and this will be illegal, and you can't. No, guys, that's over. That's over. It's literally a mechanical free for all right now. Knock yourself out. Go for it. Delete whatever you want to delete.
And what Buddy's talking about was the Ford shock towers. I'm going to add to the list of hell auto repairs because I had a 69 Mustang coupe that someone put
a 390M.
No, they put a 4-valve, the 4V head Cleveland in it.
Okay.
And you couldn't change the plugs.
That's not as bad as an FE in one of those things. A 390.
I've done FE headers in a.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah. But these spark plugs were actually worse in this Cleveland than putting headers on a 390.
That's hard to believe.
Because they were just in there, and they're the small ones, and you had to have the right socket, and you couldn't get in there because That was the worst. Yeah, that car ran, but when it needed plugs, oh gosh, forget it.
Let's see. Boomer is saying the CARB and EPA will be neutered until the next change of hierarchy. Don't bet on it, bro. The corporation is done, and those things were divisions of the corporation. Don't bet on it. Don't bet on it.
It'd be nice if he could dissolve all big corporations, like he's doing the Corporation of the United States, drug companies, and these things, and all these people.
I believe I think we're in a period of transition right now. It's just getting started, and within the next foreseeable future, the next few years, things will not be recognizable. It's that simple. Everything's going to change. The money is going to change. Everything is going to change, but it's going to be in steps. It's going to be in steps, and it's been happening. It's not like it's going to happen. It's been actively happening, even during the last administration on different levels. But you know, you'll see.
$0.20 motors. Number 7 plug on a 440 C body is changed from underneath and/or with lifting the driver's side of the engine after loosening the motor mounts.
Well, that's true on big block B bodies. Same thing with the exhaust manifolds. 383, you can kind of get away with. 440 gets too tight, and it's much easier to just lay underneath and knock the plugs in and out from underneath. Joe K is saying now's a good time to own one of those angled style electric trucks. I was just watching videos of that. Have you seen this shit?
That people are just randomly vandalizing them, or no?
Yeah, people are just walking up to Teslas and keying the things and like doing all.
What I find funny is Tesla owners are swapping the badges for something else.
Like you can't recognize it.
Right.
They should have a deal where the car has an electric force field around it. I mean, you got enough voltage, right? Why can't you just have a force field?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such utter insanity. I can't even go there. Carl J, how can I remove a salvage title on a 66 Mustang legally?
You can, whatever state you're in, and this works sometimes. Depending on when it was salvaged and, about computer base and all that kind of stuff. Just go in and file for a lost title.
That's one way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, contact your friend at the impound yards. They probably have a way to do things like that.
Yeah, I never cared enough to really find out. I don't care what it says on the title. You could say Gumby on the title. I don't
Gumby
shit. Granddad's drunk just spent a month in Bolivia, in the Amazon basin, and loved the people. Were very nice and helpful. My Spanish was not good, and we drive on the other side of the road. It was fun. Have you ever been down that way? You're a globetrotter.
In Bolivia? No, I've never been to Bolivia. I think the farthest southern hemisphere I've been was Aruba, which is off the coast of Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been down to Cabo. That's not as far south as Aruba is, I believe. I don't know. But no, never been on.
Further south I've ever been was Texas.
Yeah, you don't leave.
Nah. Let's see. What's the man's name on the right?
Tony.
People of your planet know me as Tony, and this is Dr. Art.
Must be his right, because my right is you.
Yeah, well, he's looking at us from. Well, he's seeing what we're seeing here.
Okay.
So I would be on the. I'm on the right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Tony.
Yes. Jared says he has Bolivian ramfish.
That sounds like a bad disease.
Yeah, penicillin. What do you take for that? Wargos saying, guys, any title loopholes like Vermont left? My 68 Newport turns out I have a title to a 66 Chrysler with a 14-digit VIN. Huh? Someone messed up. So some people tell me that the Vermont loophole has been closed, and other people tell me, no, you just need to file a different paper for it. I have no idea what the current status on that is. I don't know.
A lot of states are loosening up just to get the tax money.
Yeah.
That's how I got title for Richard. I just walked in and they're like, oh, it's old and no one claims it. So,
Right.
okay, here's
exactly.
$80. Yeah, it's yours now.
Is it on the hot sheet anywhere? If it's not on the hot sheet, go for it. Curtis Randolph, look at all those vintage Mopar manuals behind you. They're cookbooks, bro. They're cookbooks. Like this one right here. To serve man. Yeah.
Mozzarella cooking, mozzarella cooking, mozzarella cooking, mozzarella cooking with pasta, mozzarella cooking with pasta and sauce.
Torino Elite, I'm not an EV fan, but there are things you just don't do, like messing with a fellow's car. I could not agree with you more. I would defend a Tesla if there was this. If I came across an incident where a Tesla was being vandalized, I would intervene. There's no question about it. It's disgusting. Limestone. Lemonstein. Tony has not smoked in months. No, I quit a long time ago. It's a disgusting habit. I'm tired of smelling like an ashtray. And please, I feel so much better now that I quit. Hot shoe vandalism is for cowards. You got that right. Shangri-La Eldorado. Tony and Dr. Art, what's your favorite food to eat?
Donuts.
Really?
If they wouldn't kill me if I would just dine on donuts, chocolate covered Long John donuts. I mean, there's nothing. It just makes you happy. You know, I mean, there's good stuff and there's all this kinds of a million different things to eat. But the one thing where my brain goes, donuts. Yeah.
I've become a Mexican food freak. I eat it a lot now. Like, I'd say my diet is mostly Mexican food anymore. Tacos and burritos. And do you guys have a Laredo taco company? So in I see them in 7-Elevens, and there's one here, right? There's a 7-Eleven that I stop and I get my coffee on the way to the shop every time. I'm there 2-3 times a day getting coffee. And they have Laredo taco in there. And I'm like, that's got to be just ass. So like for like a year that I'm stopping to get coffee there.
Ignore them.
I ignore it, right? And the other day I was starving, right? And I was like, I got to eat something. I'm looking for something to eat. I was like, let me try this crap, all right? Let me get this out of my system so I can regret it and move forward.
Never have to do it again.
Dude, it was freaking delicious. It was delicious.
Was it like a Laredo? Was it like a truck outside or like in the freezer?
It's in the snow. No, it's in the 7-Eleven. Okay. and it's set up like it's fresh. It's fresh. They cook it on a grill behind you,
Okay.
right? So the burritos, I got, and I've had it several times since. I got a grilled chicken with ground beef and rice and cheese.
Okay.
Freaking delicious,
Yeah.
and like a good solid, like a big hunk of food,
Mhm.
right? Like it's like $9 for it. Like delicious. If you guys have a Laredo taco by you, try it. Anthony Perna, Tony, now that you're not smoking, how are you handling your ADD? I actually have a doctor's appointment to try and do that something. The thing about smoking and ADD is so caffeine and nicotine have the same effect on the ADD brain as Ritalin does without the negative side effects. But after I quit smoking, I just kind of adapted.
Dealt with it.
Do you see much of a difference now between like when I was a smoker and now?
None.
Right? See, even Dr. Art hasn't seen a change in me since I quit. So
No. Zero hostility.
you could do it, Anthony. I have faith in you. You could do it.
Mhm.
If I could quit smoking, bro, anybody can quit smoking. It's a disgusting habit.
Mhm. Huh. Well, we're just talking about crazy stuff here.
Which crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, who said that? Hashu, a good mushroom Swiss burger is hard. Dude, you're not lying about that. Mushroom Swiss is the king of burgers. Mushroom Swiss and onions. You have some grilled onions on there too.
You mess it up with the mushrooms.
Really?
I'm not a mushroom person.
Oh man, I wasn't. I became a mushroom person like maybe 5-10 years ago, and now I want them on everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. No, they just don't do it. Andy Cobra Guy. Why do they put the Really whirls on brake lines from the master cylinder to the proportioning valve? If I run my own lines, I can't just run them straight to the valve.
Now, I always thought that they were there to keep the metal from work hardening, from vibrating and work hardening.
Right. That's what I always.
That's what, and I said that. Somebody asked that same question recently, and they gave a different reason. And I said, well, maybe that's possible. I've always been under the impression that they wrap the lines because over the course of a car's life, there's vibration, and that vibration, the steel wrap around it would dampen the vibration and keep it from work hardening. But I could be wrong. That's just the impression that I always had. Zero saying, be a smoker, be a non-smoker, be the shroud. Zero. Just say it out loud, and it's just like that. Done and done. You are absolutely right, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Zero is my spiritual advisor. When I look to that next level,
He's Guru Zero.
Is the Guru Zero? Yes. Wheelie King agrees with the mushroom Swiss with onions. Nothing better. That bun better be a sponge. That's the best part. Be the ball. Russ Beater Derelicts, mushroom Swiss burger with too much gravy. Yes. All right, guys, you're doing this to me. Don't do this to me. You're
going to get hungry on the way home, aren't you?
I'm a foodie. You can't do this to me. You know what I had today for lunch? I went to the Mexican restaurant over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got nachos, grilled chicken nachos with the cheese, the queso. Oh God, That's like my dark master. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would do anything for cheese dip. It's that
Right.
simple, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I filled up on that, and now I'm starving, and I need a mushroom Swiss burger. But there's really no place to get a mushroom Swiss burger except for Hardee's, and you can't eat the buns.
No,
The buns are it's some sort of thing.
alien technology.
Yeah,
The
it's some derivative of PZV or something. It's
we went to lunch at this pizza place up in Goodlettsville and Wolf River or something, but they have a special. You get a 10-inch personal pizza, 2 toppings, and a drink, $8.
that's not bad.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
I'll have to.
Yeah. No, I didn't need 2. I mean, 1 because it's a thicker crust, but no, for $8, it's great.
Ross Beat is saying Tony's going to point to the menu at Hardee's and say, "No, dude, Hardee's used to be really good. So their sauce is on point. Okay, the mushroom Swiss and the meat on the burger. I assume it's real, beef. Okay, that's on point too. Okay, but the bun is completely inedible. It's like it came from like Dr. Mengeler's kitchen. It's
like came out of a plastic injection machine or something.
Yeah. Can't eat Hardee's anymore. Wheelie King, I found that white Mexican cheese you're talking about months ago. So, yeah, bro. Yep. 72 SE440. He had a heart attack a couple of weeks ago. Oof. Chemo last week. Took my charger out yesterday for a blast. Good weather does wonders. Yeah, man. I mean, keeping your spirits up. If you're healing, keeping your spirits up and like an optimistic outlook and having things that you're working towards and planning towards, dude, your body, that's how you give yourself a fighting chance. You're doing it.
UT, go to the store, get some shiitakes, onions, Swiss cheese, and appropriate buns, and shadow steaks and Kathy bananas will fix you up.
No, it's too late. She works her tail off, and we were up early in the morning. We had to go to practice with the border collies and agility. So she was up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's been working ever since. I'm not going to drop that on her now.
What about go to Culver's and get your mushroom Swiss?
I've never tried Culver's, and I'm afraid to.
Why?
Try it because every time I try a new burger, I get freaking angry. Like Whataburger. Have you been to Whataburger?
Whataburger sucks in this town. It's nothing like the Texas Whataburgers.
I'm ready to assault somebody when I go. It's horrible. It's horrible. You wait hours for a freaking burger.
Yeah, can I get a name with it? Fuck you. Just give me my burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Whataburgers here suck. The original Whataburgers in like Texas are still awesome. So, yeah, but try the Culver's. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm starving right now, bro.
Well, you could. There's one.
All of this talk about food.
Just go grab one on the way home.
Stray Bullet saying In-N-Out Burger is coming to Tennessee. Yep, I know all about it. Give me a double, baby.
Mm-hmm.
In-N-Out Burger started out. A lot of people don't notice. The very first In-N-Out Burger was actually the concession stand at Irwindale Speedway, Irwindale drag strip, back in 1966, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
And that was the very first In-N-Out Burger.
Mexican spec. I eat a lot of Mexican food. Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure he does since he lives there.
Buddy Carfano says Google says spiral brake lines is to allow them to expand and contract. Dude, if your steel brake lines are expanding and contracting, you got issues. You got issues far beyond anything that a wrap is gonna. Anthony Prentice, do you like Five Guys burgers? Not for what they charge for the damn things.
Yeah,
it's obscene. It's like $12 for a freaking cheeseburger.
Yeah, they're too proud of them.
Yeah. Deep fried breaded mushrooms. Yeah, roast beer. Yeah. You guys are killing me here.
Mm-hmm.
Fuddruckers was good.
Or you go in and build,
Fuddruckers?
yeah, and go and build your own burger and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Jeff R. Are corn dogs a thing in Tennessee at fairs and stuff like that?
Yeah. Or you can go to Cookout and get a corn dog.
Oh, Cookout's got great burgers.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll have Cookout.
Go to Cookout and get your mushroom Swiss burger at Cookout.
Do they have mushroom Swiss?
I'm sure they do.
There you go.
Look it up on your phone before you go, but I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Jamie's in the house. Did someone say Dead Dodge Garage?
Hi, Jamie.
They were talking about your love for corn dogs, bro.
It's nice of him to stop by last minute.
It's always good to have Jamie in the house.
Oh, I know.
He loves corn dogs. That's true. Well, there you go, man.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we don't have corn dogs on the regular here. Like, you got to go to like fairs and stuff. Or we have county fairs all around us, all through the year.
Yeah. And that's quite the scene in Tennessee to go to the county fair.
It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
It's a little crazy.
I probably won't be going anymore.
Jamie. Been out in the rain straining the front end of this stupid Neon I bought.
It will all be worth it. Yeah, for Neon, bro. Is it going to mess our Jamie's, or is it just a?
I just talked to him about getting more cars that are unimportant, like Tuesday, and then hey, let's throw a Neon in the mix.
I was just talking about this earlier, Jamie. We were talking about difficult jobs. Have you ever done a heater core in a Neon? Because I was talking about doing a heater core in a Neon. Where you got to literally undo the entire underhood wiring harness and feed it through the firewall before you can. Job.
But he'll do a video on a Neon and get 100,000 views, and
the whole interior's got to come out.
Yeah,
the whole interior's got to come out, and every wire under the hood has to be undone.
Mm-hmm. At that point, I would just sawzall the dash out.
At that point, I put on a jacket and gloves. You know what I mean?
Light a little fire in the passenger seat. Yeah.
Torino Elite. What sort of horsepower are you hoping for with the 650 Savage? My sister had one of those little bike. Just the 33 horsepower it's supposed to have. That's all. This thing with the Savage has zero to do with the bike and everything to do with testing different concepts. Like we were going to test plug indexing, and we were going to do tests on heat ranges, and we were going to do tests on gaps, and then we were going to do fuel tests. So the only thing that bike, the only thing that Suzuki has to do is just make the 33 horsepower or close to it that it's supposed to, and do it consistently. So there is no build on that bike, like zero build on that bike. It's just a tool to test different concepts on. Does that make any sense? Joe K, what year was that Chevy van where you had to break the dash? It was a job I did when I was like probably in my early 20s, so it was probably
73 van or something. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be 73. It would be later. It was an inline 6, and it had that valve cover that had like a tower on top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever year that was.
Okay.
Boomer, corn dogs. A hot dog made of everything but meat, covered in genetically modified corn scrappings. You just described Jamie.
Mm-hmm. What's Jamie doing here? He's deleting parts from this one, remove the entire interior, and three dead mice, and installing a pair of Durango seats, building a winch bumper.
What are you going to do with this thing, bro?
Oh, I know what he told me about this.
Off-road?
No. It's up. I'll tell you.
Okay.
When we're done here, I'll tell you.
No,
I can't give it away. But yeah, we talked about that. the other day. I mean, it's epic. That's all I can say.
Okay. Hot shoe, Tony, did you used to run a top fuel altered, a AA fuel altered? Yes, I did. Rusty the Derelicts. Tony, what's your thoughts on the India-built Royal Enfield? Royal Enfield is on its way to taking over the world. The Indian motorcycle industry is on point. I mean, they have to step up and expand like their sport bike offerings, that sort of thing. But Royal Enfield and just the Indian motorcycle industry in general they're rapidly becoming the leaders in the global motorcycle market.
Here's something that'll touch a nerve on you.
Everything touches a nerve.
Brian Allen, what's your thoughts on the 390 FE? Have a 74 and I want to bump the compression up from the low sevens. Worth it, or build a Windsor? I don't think it had 7-to-1 compression.
Yeah, well, after it's been
wiped
around
out
the planet a couple of times, it might be down there. Dude, I would build a Windsor.
It's just the 5,000 pounds you save from the intake manifold.
Yeah, make your life easy and happy and fun, and just build a Windsor. Build a nice 351 for it.
Yeah, I mean he'd be better off putting up one of those 400 modifieds in it than another 390.
Yeah.
You know, because those are $5, and you can buy a cam and all this stuff for them, and they'll run just as good. And you don't have to spend the millions of dollars for an FE motor.
Hot shoe. Okay, cool. I had one as well with a Donovan 417 called Rat Trap. So hot shoe, you must be in England, yeah? Because it was, unless you're Don Green, but I think Don Green's been dead for a long time. Where are you from, Hot Shoe?
KJ Kylie says his dog won't even eat a corn dog. He just growls at them because he knows it's made with dogs. He's like, I don't want to end up like this.
Okay, so you're in Oklahoma? Hey, let's go back here. Rat Trap. Who's got... The guy here in Franklin has... I'm trying to think of his name. There's a guy in Franklin that's running a car called the Rat Trap. And his name is Ron Hope.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you in relation to Ron Hope? This was in the early 80s. Okay, so since then, that name has been bounced around a bit, and currently it's run by a guy named Ron Hope out of Franklin, Tennessee, about 25 miles from here. I don't know him, but I know that that's where the car is now.
Hold the phone.
Yes.
What time it is?
Oh, Jesus. It's late. I just met a fuel altered friend. There aren't too many of us.
Well, you can stay on until 10 o'clock. I'm going home, going to bed.
I have to get something to eat. But I just met a fuel altered friend. You know, there's only a couple of us.
Well, they can come back. They can come see you Sunday, or they can come back next Thursday.
All right. Come back on Sunday, Hot Shoe.
I'll be replaced by a big jar of Tang. It's your sidekick, but okay. So that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I'm gonna call it, and because if you never see the sunshine, go out and dance in the rain and whatever that means, and we got to go home.
I have no idea what you said. I know it makes sense in some way, but yes, I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna thank our amazing mods who are with us through thick and thin. Do you realize how these guys, no matter what, man, we turn this shit on, boom, they're there.
They're like magic,
covering our asses, keeping the chat in line,
keeping the trolls at bay,
promoting our stuff and channels and goodies and stuff like that,
making us millionaires overnight.
Our awesome mods, not quite, but they're good, but they're not.
Some night, maybe not tonight, but some night.
Spec. Fubar, 0. My spiritual advisor, 0. What else? Everybody who contributed to Super Chat, thank you very much. Everybody who contributed with just your presence and your conversation, thank you equally. We are eternally in your debt for sharing the most valuable asset you have, your time. You chose to click on us. That's awesome. I don't know why. I have no idea why you would do that. But you did it, and I'm grateful that you did. And so is Dr. Art. Dr. Art's twice as grateful.
Double
grateful.
Double grateful.
So, you want to talk about anything?
No, I'm very tired.
He's well done. Dr. Art is shot. Not another word.
I'm shot. I've had a long week.
Right.
Long.
And my fuel altered friend. There aren't many of us, bro. How many fuel altered people are there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you only have to be in it for a little bit of time. Fuel altered, right? So that's it. I'm going to pull a plug. I got nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to promote.
You're going to go get a mushroom Swiss burger.
Yes, I need.
You should probably get 3 of them, and then so you wake up in the morning, you could have 2 more.
I don't eat leftovers. Once something reaches room temperature, it's over. It can go no further.
Say goodnight, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Bye.
Now it'll stop.
Yeah.